Isaiah 62. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory, and thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name. Thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of thy God. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate, but thou shalt be called Hephzibah, and thy land Beulah, for the Lord delighteth in thee.
Hi guys, and welcome to Beauty for Ashes. This is a channel that brings you stories to your living room, stories of hope, stories of success, of people who've seen dark in their former days, but their latter days are now better. I am your host, Philomena, and today, ladies and gentlemen, princes and princesses, queens and kings, we have the man himself, our guest, a friend to all of us, a brother, a dad, and I will bring back the brother aspect because you're doing a good job in that docket. So karibu sana Kabogo. So you can introduce yourself to the show. Who is Kabogo? Where did you grow up? Who are you now? Just the journey from your birth to.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful day to be here with you guys. Awesome stuff that you're doing. I have to congratulate on that. My name is Kabogo G. I am a son. I was a grandchild. A father. Most importantly, also a husband. A Kenyan, and also a child of God. So basically, I am been blessed by a lot of things, a lot of titles have been given by God himself to be who I am today. Kabogo G is a young village man from Nakuru. I grew up in the farmlands of Nakuru, born and bred. And amazingly, I've been raised by a very large family. Being a child of a single parent, a single mom to be precise. Mambo happen, najua. Pia alikuwa atakuwa na mtu 1 2 segemnege, so things happened and I ended up having a larger family taking care of me, namely my grandfather, my grandmother, my uncles, my aunties, and also my mom. She's a super mom. Shout out mom, I made it. I'm on TV. So basically, that is me in my youth. I went to school in Nakuru, nursery and primary. And then secondary, I got a bit of a feeling that I wanted to become a priest. So I went to a school within the county of Nakuru also, which is a seminary. And then I think life decided I'm not supposed to go to that route. Another calling, I think, was given to me by God. And yeah, that's basically my youth up to the age of 17, 18, thereabout. Yeah.
And to take you back, Frank, to something that you said you grew up in a large family, but by a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
How was it like? Was it confusing? Did you see other families in school speak of dad, mom, and was it confusing at any point or?
Well, when boys grow up, they always boast about their fathers. They all say, dadi yangu ni so and so, my father is a doctor, takudunga sinano, babangu ni engineer, ajenga manyumba. So for me it was a bit confusing because my father was not in my life. Although I knew him, but he was not in my life. So when they say, babangu ni jeshi, I would go like, babangu ni ako America. So at the end of the day, it was not something that I really diverged to people that I lacked that.
Yeah.
I faked it till I made it in terms of fatherhood.
Yeah.
And then when I grew up to around the age of 10, I realized I can use my grandfather as a reference. So it's budangu ni fama moja mkubwa sana, ama ni mfanyi biashara mnoma sana Nakuru. So that is what the larger family gave me in terms of support as a growing young man, to be able to, sustain myself in the small wars between young men and young boys.
Yeah.
So so my family from my mom's side played a pivotal role to ground me and also give me that feeling of you belong somewhere. Yeah. So basically, I didn't really lack. Initially, I thought I lacked, but sikukosa.
We thank God for family.
Yeah, amen,
The extended
amen.
family, it steps up. And
Kabisa.
Frank, fast forward, you finished your seminary, you've decided this priesthood is not my call. How does your journey now to being a parent begin for you?
So, I think at that time I thought being a priest was something in me. I thought it was cool when I would look at them and they conduct mass.
Yeah.
And they say, the Lord be with you. And I thought I would be the one saying, the Lord be with you. And there was a specific father who was at a seminary who is now currently the bishop in Eldoret, Father Bishop Kimingich. He's the guy who really motivated us. We thought that was a calling. But funny enough, at that age, there was a time I would ask myself, na watoto wangu wanaweza kuwa kikaaje? Umeshika?
Good question.
So watoto wangu watakuwa ni weupe, ni weusi, ni warefu, ni wafupi. So that also started lingering in.
Yeah.
I think it came to a point I was able to understand that hii nataka kuwa priest, it's not going through because I'm divulging into that element.
You have this other question.
Number two, I realized whatever a girl would say, hello, nasikia kaudo funny. And realized pia kama nasikia kaudo funny inamaanisha this is not my line. Kuna jambo. So I ended up not finishing up the seminary program. I ended up going to another institution. And then later on, I was able to go to Uganda.
Yeah.
And in Uganda, it opened a new challenge for me in terms of school. Ending up to university, going to the Makerere. You know, they would say Kibaki alienda hapa, so and so alienda hapa, na Kabogo alienda pia hapa. So among the list of many people who went to Makerere, I was able to go through that. Yes. And Makerere was good because it taught me the element of being responsible for your own life. There was a lot of elements in terms of people going out. It was not bad going out. We used to go out, or people engaging in a lot of drinking. So you make those calls in regards to your life. But as zingine, you are dictated by how much money you are being given. So my mom, being a single parent, she would budget money for me throughout the semester. I would say, boss, here is $516, that is your school fees. If you want to drink it, eat it, it's up to you. I'm going to budget 100 shillings for you, for food, for an entire day, so that is your breakfast, lunch and supper. If you want to eat the entire portfolio of money I've given you for the entire semester, it's up to you. Here is for hostel, ndo hiyo, ukitaka kuishi juu ya miti ndo uende uchape sherehe, it's up to you. So she gave me everything and let me be my own man, you know. So I was able to get a bit of discipline in terms of the little resources she would get. Because I used to go to Uganda and remember, each time I go home, she has to take a loan. Basically, naenda kwa sako, nasema ile loan ingine top up, ndo niye nisome. So that would ground me a bit and realize that hii pesa nimepatio has an agenda. Na agenda ni wapi? Ni shule. And I went to Uganda, I enjoyed, did my course, I had a few retakes, and then in between that hulabaloo of university and all that stuff, some Kenyan guy appeared from the blues, and he said he's looking for people to work for him in Uganda. Why? In Uganda, people had conned him big time. So the local guys, some of them, not all, Ugandans are good people, would con him of his resources. So he said he's going to take people that he knows of in Uganda that are Kenyan, that he would trust. Amazingly, this guy was my neighbor. They came in Kenya, where my mom had built her house. The guy used to live a few blocks away from that place. So we knew each other. And he said, I have this job and I want you to work for me. And I said, okay, say no, I'll do this. And as a campus guy, someone is paying you 8,000 shillings in Uganda. If you convert it to the Ugandan shilling, my friend, you 6 figure.
And you still have your 100 bob.
And I still have my 100 bob hapa. And I still have maisha university. And then he says, not only the 8,000, nakupatia kagari.
Wow.
My friend. Ai,
You're
nani
balling.
bazu? Sindio? So I was able to go to school. I'm getting kagari ya kuzunguka, iko na mafuta, na 8,000 times, at that time range ilikuwa kaa 25, there about. 200, 300, karibu 250,000 Uganda shillings. And a few deals hapa pale, unapata ka 300,000. So my life was good. Fortunately, unfortunately, nikasema, why am I in school? I'm in school kwa sababu
to get money.
Kwa pata kakazi, nipate pesa. Lakini sasa I have not finished school. Lakini bado nimepata nini? Kazi. Pesa. Na pesa. Na si peke wake na gari. Ai, my friend. Na ni gari mpya. Na ilikuwa Nissan fulani hapo, this Toyota Aces. Ilikuwa Super GL. Iko na music, kuna rims. Nikiweka Sanyu FM nikuja hapo university kama dereva wa gari za kwenda Buruburu.
You're the emperor.
And the conqueror is here. So life was good. Life was nice. And even saw myself not even coming back to Kenya. This is it. Nikamwambia Mungu wangu asante sana. Kumbe nilikuwa nataka kuwa priest, ningejipoteza Nakuru. Wacha nikuje Kampala niendeleshe maisha vizuri sana. So that was that, and I was able to work for that entity for a year or two. Also getting a few gigs. Used to bring cars from Mombasa to Kampala using the same guy and earn a bit extra money there. Then one day, one of my friends is called Solomon. I'm always indebted to that guy. Solo, aka Doctari. That guy tells me, brother, kuna super fulani that I want to date. But this girl is a fresher.
Yes.
So, I know freshers are somehow fearful of the environment. So the girl would come to see Solo on a date with another girl. So Solo mwambia kuja nikununie Rolex.
Yes.
You know, chapati mayai, that's the Ugandan pizza.
Then
a glasi ya maziwa. Then this girl would say, we, so and so, tumeitwa sapa. Lakini ajui, sapa ni ya mtu moja na yeye Solo. Anaitwa wangapi?
Wawili.
So Solo says, I've tried this date, always, anakuja na ka handbag.
Yes.
Na nikicheki ya ka handbag,
si kabaya.
Nika size yako. Ambia Solo bwana unajua size yangu. Solo says, no. Where are you? I tell him, I'm in Barara. How long will it take you to come to Kampala? I said, 3 to 4 hours. He says, okay, I will wait for you. The packages are in my room. That is the hostel. I'm like, say no more. I'll help a brother out. Mimi ni wingman wako.
Yes.
And I arrive. Wacha tufike kwa room. Nikaona mtu ya Solo na mtu yangu. Sawa. I said, okay, Solo hujakosea sana.
This is my type.
Not bad. So he says, wink, kidogo. Nikachukua mtu yenye. So mwambie toka hivi twende hivi. And somewhere we clicked. Na huyu mtu. Hi mtu. Huyu mtu we clicked na yeye. And amazingly, something has never happened. Before that I used to date. Najua soko ilikuwa hapo nini. An eligible bachelor msee
You have money and a car.
Uganda will say, msaja wa Kenya lina sente nyingi nyo. Msaja handsome. Nikisikia hivyo na but somehow somewhere it clicked with this girl. And after a conversation from that day, I asked her on a date.
Yes.
The next day was a Sunday. I don't know why, but I asked her, kesho unadu? She said, hakuna. Wewe ni mkatho? Mimi ni mkatho. Si tuende church. Akasema, okay, sawa. I was like, sawa. Yes. And we parted ways. Lakini when we parted ways, I was like, Kabogo, surely, yani you need a dream church kwanza kama date. Kwani uko sawa?
Rolex.
Nini mbano msei? Kwani uko sawa ama uko sawa? Ni nini? But she accepted. Next day we went to church. It was a nice church at a church called Buya Hill Catholic Church. And from there, we started having the tete-a-tetes. I stopped going to visit Solo. Each time I would come, I would whiz past Solo's room to go and meet this girl. And it was an amazing short stint. Sitasema ni wakati mgani tulijuana na yeye. Because alikuwa fresha, mimi already nilikuwa nimeacha mambo ya shule, and she really warmed my heart. I used to now drive her around school, drop her to class, things like that. And we clicked. A few months later, she says, Mzee, we need to have a conversation. I'm like, we need to have a conversation. Why? We kuja, uko wapi? Mwambie sasa hivi kwa Masaka. I'm coming down to Kampala. Says come. And I went. And something, I'll take you back. When I used to go back to see her, I don't know why, a lot of girls would be visited by their guys with chocolate, flowers. Mimi nilikuwa namulia cabbage, samaki, sweet potato, ndoma. That's what I used to visit her. Hostel nayo. I don't know why. But I'll take it back to my extended family. Because hapo hiyo au
Sio priesthood.
No. Hiyo thing ilitoka kuona my grandfather. So because my grandfather used to buy everything. So I think ilikuja kutoka hapo. I'll take you back why I say that. So mimi nikabeba ndoma zangu za kawaida, cabbage, nyeni. Huko hapo na sukuma. So cabbage, whatever, and I take to her. I find this girl, macho, red. I'm like, what's up? He says, I have missed. I'm like, ooh. I have missed. What? I have missed. Oh! Oh! Oh my! Why have you missed? She looks at me like, like, da. Tuko naye hapa ni nini wewe? I'm like, Jesus, guy, I wanted to become a father in church. Now she's telling me
in the world.
I'm going to be a father in this world. Ay. Mawazo. No, she cries out kabisa.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I went close to her. I hugged her, and I said these words. Don't worry, baby. Don't worry, baby. Don't worry, baby. Don't worry, baby. Everything's gonna be alright. I'm here with you. For G. I'm here with you for G. Girl stops crying. Girl is comfortable. Girl is at peace. After a few minutes, me I leave her room and I go. Mweje jita mkutano, nimesema nini? La haula. Nimesema Kabogo uko serious umejia haya. Ni commitment gani umemeka?
Yeah.
So the challenge was now how would she communicate back home? And she would ask me, have you said anything at home? And I would say no. And not at that time, I'm around 23 headed to 24.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty young. She's equally young. I think she was around 21, 22, thereabout. So we are children. Tujamaliza shule. I traveled kidogo, tried working kidogo. Then one day I said to myself, kwani iko nini? I'll call. So I called home.
Yeah.
And I called home a few months later. Because she broke the news to me, I think, in March.
Yeah.
And I called home in May. In fact, I called during my birthday. So of course, mom is like, hello, hey, happy birthday. Birthday. Then I'm like, niko na news. News gani? Ni ya birthday kwangu, ni ya birthday kwako, lakini pia wewe very soon unakuwa shosho. Ati?
Na happy birthday ingine.
Utakuwa nini? Shosho. I'm like, He says, she says, no. Hii story anipatia, Abushi kaongea na grandfather yako. Apparently, alikuwa ameenda kuona mzae. So akaambia mzae, nikajua finished. Mimi, finished. Mzae akasema, hello. He had a very deep voice. Hello. Akaambia, Guka, kuna venye utakuwa Guka tena. There was a moment of silence. And then I have never forgotten this deep laugh Congratulations, kijana wangu. And I was like, hey, haya, utafurahi? He says, yes, very nice. Now, from that laugh, it was 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, because the questions I was asked after that were, ni wa wapi? Ni nani huyu? Mzazi anajua? Tunaenda lini? Utataja mtoto aje? So I was like, hey, boss, nimetoka kukuambia tu saa hii.
It's just news.
Just news. He says, no. Kuanzia leo nipatie kwao ni wapi, mzazi ni nani, wanakaa wapi. I need to mobilize my people.
Yeah.
No, kijana of mine atapata mtoto hivi kwa kichaka. And he said, okay, sawa. And I gave him the details. And with immediate effect, the old man called his peers. And he said, kuna msichana wa so and so, amazingly pia walikuwa kutoka Nakuru, wanakaa milimani, na kijana yangu amevunja miguu. And the mzee that was his friend, called Mr. Moshai, may God rest his soul in peace, alikufa na COVID juzi. Akamwambia, I know that man is my friend. So mnajuana, so what type of, mnajua naulizanaga huyo mtu ni aina gani? Kwao ni wachawi ama si wachawi, ni wezi ama si wezi. So akauliza, kaambia iko huyo tunamjua sana. And they called each other. Believe you me, in a matter of days, from me saying tume, siku ilipangwa that we are going to their home on 1st of August 2009. Akakuja nyumbani holiday, akaambiwa, kwanza alikuja akasema, akatafuta aunti yake akamwambia nimefanya. Aunti yake kalialia kidogo, and then akamwambia usijali, hiyo si mbaya sana, lakini tuongea. Then akaitwa, akaambiwa, those people from huko Kiamunyi want to come here, are you ready? Akasema sawa, tukutane. First, kabla ifike nikapigiwa simu na mzee, akaniambia, umejipanga aje? Akamwambia umejipanga aje bwana? Ulivunja mbuzi mguu, lazima uko umejipanga. Akaniambia, fanya hivi, leta kenye uko nayo kwa mfuko, tushikanishe na wazee, we go and see these people. And that's what happened. And 1st August 2009, I went to their home in Milimani, and I said, ni mimi nilifanya mbuzini mguu hivi. Akaambia, unampenda? Nampenda. Akaambia sawa. And I thought we are just going to tangaza ourselves, and that's it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, the plan I had was not what the wazee had. Tukimaliza event, nilipatiwa mpaka msichana. Umetangaza msimamo, msichana ndio huyu, chukueni naye. Kumbe wazee, they did not just report themselves, they say, we also want to marry her. Umeshika? And I'll go back why I say that. And then, officially in front of umati ya watu, we became man and... But remember, I became man and wife with her the day I said, don't worry baby. That was a commitment I gave. And I came to realize juzi, at 17 years, that is a commitment I made to her. Without knowing. It was me, her, and God. And I went back to Uganda. And we went and started a life together. But now she's heavily pregnant. She stayed up to October and said, I cannot get this child in Uganda. I wanted to stay in Uganda, but she says, no. Me, I'll not stay in Uganda. I think she saw competition huko ni kama iko juu kidogo. You know, huyu jamaa anachekesha Waganda sana. So akasema, my friend, mimi huko sikai. Akapanda basi, sure, one way. But remember, she's no longer going back to her home.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right? Because alipeanwa. Ukishapeanwa rudi kwenu. So she goes and lands at my mom's place. Na wakasukuma. Now, hiyo August when nilienda kwao, I realized my 8,000 in Uganda will not sustain a family.
Yeah.
My 250,000 Uganda shillings will not keep me up and the family well. And I realized ile degree nilikuwa nimewachana nayo, lazima nirudi. I handed over the car, I handed over the business that I was pushing, nikarudi kuwa student. The hardest thing ever. My friend, university ulikuwa unaingia kama driver wa matatu za Ngong. Sasa unaingia ukiwa Futsubishi. Are we together? Unaulizwa, hey bro, you are still with us? I will never forget this lecturer. Nilikuwa nimefeel accounting. Aliniangalia akaniambia, you Kenyan, are you still in university? Are you doing medicine? Because ya miaka 3 tunafanya na miaka 6. So nikangana tu. One of the friends now my wife was very helpful because she was also in the same class that I was doing the accounting. So she took me up, shout out to Katile. She took me up and said, you are going to join a discussion group and all that stuff. So she helped me through the journey of university to finish that paper. And lucky enough, I was able to finish the paper. And I came back to Kenya. Now, before I came back to Kenya, I had to clear everything that I had in the little house we used to live in. Remember, for nearly 4 to 5 months, I'm not working. Na nilikuwa nimezoea kuwa na kamshahara, right?
Yeah.
Sasa, unaomba watu nyumbani pocket money na ulikuwa umeacha kuomba. Hii gas you need, so nauza gas na kula siku kadhaa. Hii mattress you need, nauza na kula siku kadhaa. Hii kitanda you need. So on the last day, ndo nikuje Kenya, I think I sold something, bed sheets, sufuria, and I got enough money kuingia baska. Yeah. Lakini pesa ingenitosheleza nikae kwa kiti. Nilibebwa na mzigo. Unajua wale mama wakinunua materials za watoto za nguo, wanakaa hapa kwa gangwe.
Yes.
So jamaa aliniambia, kaka brother, hii yako haitoshi. Huwezi kalia kiti, utakalia mzigo bwana. So nilikalia mzigo kutoka Kampala mpaka Nairobi. Mpaka Nakuru. Landed Nakuru, my uncle was there to meet me. My uncle told me, boss, umefanya nini? Mama yako amejam. I was like, mimi sikuna nimefanya, zimekuja tu sahi. Now, I'll take you back 3 weeks before that. 3 weeks before that, my wife got a child. Akapata mtoto on the 4th of December. At that time, we didn't have social media, so there was no WhatsApp or anything like that. So I got my first picture of my son using MMS, sent by auntie wife. That's the only medium. Na ingekula bundles nyingi kutuma hiyo picha. So I saw his picture and I was flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. Kweli nimepata mtoto. Ile swali nilikuwa najiuliza zamani, mtoto wangu atakaje? Ndio haka. Kalikuwa keupe. Angalia rangi yangu na kweli Mungu ni maajabu. Umeongeza masantio aromat. So nafika nikiwa na furaha sana because I'm going to see my child. Na message ya kwanza naambia ni mama yangu amejaa. Yeah. I'm like, hey, okay. And I arrived there around 23rd. 23rd or 22nd thereabout. Just few days before Christmas. Nikafika nyumbani, nikapata mtu yangu ako sawa, mtoto yangu ako sawa. Mama amefura. Hey. Jaribu kuhug mama tu ako hivi. Then a few hours later she tells me, kijana, you have got a child, you have got a wife. I need you out of my house in the next 5 days. I've just been inducted into the wall or hall of fame of being a father.
Yes.
Of being a husband. Na saa mama amesema wewe. Siku ngapi?
For 5 days.
And nikafikia hii ni story ya madhe tu, emotions tu, ako overwhelmed. Najua furaha kwa grandmother vitu kama hizo. Christmas Day we had an event at my grandfather's place, and then jioni people are leaving. One of my aunties used to stay in town, and of course watu wakichelewa unajua sema tutaenda aje town, tutaenda aje home. Unaambia so and so kuja ubebe auntie yako. So nikasema na baba auntie. Ninasema na baba auntie, mama akasema ni aje hata mimi niache nyuma. So I'm like unaenda wapi? Huko home. Akaingia gari nyuma. We went and dropped my aunties and all that stuff. Going back to home, back to the house, she tells me, you remember I told you what?
5 days.
I told you 5 days. So umebakisha siku 3. Aisha.
Serious.
And mama alikuwa serious. I went back home. And I told my wife, yaje, kimeturamba. Huyu mtu amesema huku atukai nomo. Tujipange. So I go and ask her next day, Boxing Day, what is happening? She says, no. You are man enough to be a husband. You are man enough to be a child. Then be man enough. Take your people. If you want to go back to Kampala, up to you. to Nakuru town, up to you, but get out of my house. And I realize now imekuwa moto. Something tells me go to Nairobi. My cousin was in USIU, so I go to Nairobi. I go and tell her hii situation iko hivi na hivi na hivi. First she laughs at me and hey brave, hey kamekulamba. But she helps me. I've never been to Nairobi in terms of going around by foot. Yes, nimesha kuja na kuvisit kwa gari, lakini sijaingia kwa system in the trenches.
Lived, yes.
So she shows me some houses in Roysambu. Roysambu was upcoming at that time. And we find a Kabet City at 7,000 and I go back home. Remember, nikuja nimekalia basi nini?
Yeah, it's nothing.
Nimekalia mizigo. Mika ni mzu wengine nyeusi. Haya. Went back home and said I found a house. Mom says, okay. How much? I tell her. So she gives me money for rent. She gives me money for depot. And then gives, I never forgotten this. Alinipatia tumafuta twa kimbo, tukachotwa, vitunguu, tuwili, tunyanya, tutatu, sahani mbili, vijiko mbili, vikombe mbili, forks mbili, kachumvi, kaskari. Na kaeka gari yake 3,000 mafuta. Akaniambia, my friend, it's been real. Adios, amigos. Ingia gari in a day or two. Hii gari iko merudi hapa. Usini kufanya gari yangu taxi wapi? Nairobi. My friend kuingia gari. Mtoto kwa 3 weeks ama 4 weeks sasa. Ilikuwa machozi kwa hiyo gari. Machozi. Tumefukuzwa, haya tutarudi Nakuru sisi. And we drive. Mimi nashangaa, mimi Nairobi nakufanya nini? Mimi sijui mtu Nairobi. Huku mtoto analia, mama analia. Na lazima bado nikuwe focus. Nakumbuka nilisema baby, don't you worry. Baby, everything's gonna be alright. Na mnaambia wako commitments mnamegiza zingine. So tukafika kanyumba. And we enter the house. Ile pesa nilikuwa bakisha juu yenye mama alikuwa amenipatia. Nilikuwa nimenunua meko na mattress ilikuwa chini. Then my half sister used to live uko pande za Githurai. Alikuja katusaidia kabedi shika kama curtain. Kufika wife akaangalia mattress, akaangalia meko, akaanza machozi. Akaniuliza, "Hapa mimi nitanyonyeshia aje? Mimi hapa nirudi kwetu." I was like, Ati afanye nini? Hapa nirudi kwetu. And I was huyu dem anasema arudi kwao kiaje?
Tushapewa.
Tena anaona aje? Yaani tumefika hapa, hii ndo palace yangu, anasema atarudi. Nikasema sawa. Just hold my beer dakika moja na kama. Nikatoka kijani, nikaingia hapo nyuma kachuo fulani. There was a joint there. Mchana ni duka, jioni ni Kafunda. Kafunda is a small pub. And there were palikuwa na bench. Nikafika hapo. Nikamwambia jamaa, sasa poa. Nipatie Guinness hizo 2 baridi.
Oh.
And you are not endorsing Guinness, by the way. And I'm just saying. So I took the first one. Kaka. I felt very relaxed. And as I was sipping the second one, I got a eureka moment. I said, La haula. She doesn't want to stay here. La haula. There is an aunt of hers who lives in Ngong. So what I'll do, I'll go and tell her, if you don't want to stay, even me, I don't want to stay in Nairobi. You ingia gari, I go drop you in Ngong, then I come back to Roysambu, I pick the mattress, the meko, I go sell hapa Kasarani, I have money in my pocket, I drive to Nakuru, I leave mom with the car, niingie Kampala coach. Wapi? Kampala. And then I go and ask my mdosi wangu, the prodigal son is back. Please give me my job back. I continue with life in Uganda the way I left it. Mungu ni wa maajabu, because they say sometimes he speaks to people. And I believe that day God spoke to my wife. Kwa sababu nikirudi niko charged to say ingia gari tuende Ngong. She looked at me and said, nimeanalyze na nimeona tutaishi pamoja kwa hii nyumba. I was like, hey, what has just changed? Suluku ukae tuende Ngong. Supply yangu tena kuuza gasi imeisha. Na unajua nilikuwa napigia mzee wa gas pale kasa, nikamwambia nakuletea gas, akasema umetumia, nikamwambia hapana, akasema leta nakurudisha pesa yako. Huyu amesema nini? Tutaishi kwa hii nyumba pamoja. Wewe. Akasema sawa, haina shida. And I said okay, sawa. Next day we have to take the car back home. So I took the car back home. Sasa pia mimi nimepata attitude. Niko na hasira. I don't understand why my mom chased us from home at a very young age with a young child. So I went home, gave the car. She saw me, she saw I was angry. She says, are you going to sleep? I said, no. Are you going to have a meal? I said, no. Will you not take tea? No. You just want to leave? Yes. She looks at me and says, if I'm your mother, here's 50 shillings. Go buy me bread. Pale kwa shop. I was like, okay, sawa, haina shida. Nimevuta miguu nikatoka. Nikaenda. As I buy bread, I meet another neighbor of ours. Okay? She's called Mrs. Kaniaru. She also passed. She was a very nice lady. She says, my son tells me you were chased. Nikamwambia, imagine. Walinifukuza, imagine. She says, hey, unakaa una hasira.
Calm down.
Nikamwambia, hey, unaweza fukuza mtoi wako? Akasema, fanya hivi. Tulia. Muongea na mama. Akasema, yeah, nimeongeleza lakini nataka nikae mimi nataka kutoka sahi. She says, my son, because you're my son. We were in the same class na his son. And the son, sorry. She says, my son, I don't know why she chased you. But if she told you to stay, just stay. And have a conversation. Don't leave at home when you're angry. And she said something. She said, I left my home without the blessing of my parents. Why she told me that, I don't understand. But do not do the same mistake I did. Because there's some things in my life right now that are now going right that I think are affiliated to that call that I made that time. And I listened to that lady. And I go back home and I say to mom, sawa, I'll sleep. She says, sawa. She makes a meal and we eat. I then call my wife and tell her, sikuji. Now she gets mad because we had agreed.
Yes.
Niku drop gari na kurudi. Tuanze maisha. So aliniona kama mimi ni snitch.
Yeah.
You snitch. Ulikuwa ndo urudi. Kama no. Acha nenda kuexplain nikikuja. She said, acha bwana. She didn't understand why.
Yeah.
So I stayed home. That evening, mom cried. And I thought, mademu mpenda kulialia wakati unataka kushika emotionally. So I said to myself, mbona unalia? She said, you do not understand why I did what I did. You may not even comprehend and understand why I pulled the cord on you guys. You may not understand where it comes from. But hopefully in the future, it does. At that time, I do not understand whatsoever what she means. And we part ways the next day. And I go back to Nairobi. Now, reaching Nairobi, do I have a job? Sawa. Do I have any source of income? No. Kafika home, told her what happened. She somehow understood after I got the information from Kaniero on what to do. And I started life in Nairobi. Now, there's power of networking, and there's power of creating proper networks. There's a young dude who used to be in A levels together, who one day I bought him tea break. I bought him viazi, which is lumonde and samosa, and he used to take it with, I think, juice or something. I bought him and never thought about it, and we were just, classmates and all that kind of stuff, but we were not close per se. So in Nairobi, tafuta namna, this guy tells me, we meet with this guy. He tells me, hey, brother, kwa niko huku? Niko huku. Niko. He's in Safaricom. He says, kuna kitu nafanya? Mnela, kuna kitu nafanya. He says, kuja, tukutane siku fulani, kunaweza kwa opportunity ya kuuza modems. Modems wakati mwa sold around 10,000. Nikamwambia sawa, haina shida. Lakini bro, sina nguo za interview. Because what I used to do in Kampala was kazi ya batteries. Yes. I used to do with scrap batteries. Do you require a suit for scrub batteries?
No, you don't.
Do you require leather shoes for scrub batteries? No. You require rubbers, jeans, t-shirt. Another guy who is also in Dubai, a friend of mine, used to live hapo karibu Mirema. So I go to Mirema and say, hey, Anto ameniambia kesho kuna interview na mimi sina nguo ya interview. So he says, sawa, kuna shati. The shirt fits me well. Kuna trouser, ilikuwa sama fupi kidogo, nikavaa. Socks nilikuwa nazo. Shida ilikuwa kiatu. Huyu jamaa anavaa kiatu number 8, mimi navaa number 10. Umeshaifinywa na kiatu nikienda interview.
You still want number 8?
Vidole zilikuwa zimekaa hivi pale mbele. Nikaenda nikamita Antu akaniambia sawa, ingia hapo ufanye interview na mdosi wetu. Mdosi wetu akaingia akaniuliza maswali and then akaniuliza, where do you want to be in the next few years? Sijai sawa kitu, nimwambia in the next few years I want to be at the level of Michael Joseph. This company will know who I am. Mdosi aliangalia hivi zile, hey. Akaandika mwendo wazimu huku. It was a contract for a month. So I was able to get the contract. So Anto said, he's just, I think, nervous or something. Just give him a chance.
Yeah.
If he sells, he sells. And I was able to get a gig. And I got the gig in February of 2010. Now, 2010 was a very fun year because sasa ni 1 month. Then you used to sell those modems. Alafu unapatiwa kadhao kama ka commission. Hiyo, there's a certain Friday tumepata kadhao, nimeuza nikapata dhao 2. And we had another friend of mine called Peter Mokera. Alikuwa fanya pia Westlands, safari kwa shop. We used to live pamoja pande ya Roysambu. Tukaenda town. Friday kumbe Kanjo usually wanakuwa na ransack watu wa uza. And upitia pale Latana Road walikuwa na msako. So I have 2,000 in my pocket. In fact, nimepigia wife nikamwambia leo mwaga maji ya ugali usiekele. Nakuja na chipo za Sanford na kuku. Kufika hapo tukapigwa makofi na Kanjo, lalishwa chini. Ukitaka kuachiliwa usilale ndani ya cell kuanzia Friday mpaka Monday. Toa kila mtu 1,000. Mokera ako na 100. Mimi niko dhao 2. Mokera nikapigwa ngumi. Mokera kajibu kunitetea akapigwa ngumi. Nikaona hapa tutaenda ndani bwana. Ile dhao 2 nikapatiana. Mokera ikatoka naye tukaenda pale beba. Kufika wanasema Roysambu 140. Mokera anapesa ngapi? 100. We stayed kwa hiyo stage karibu mpaka saa 6 usiku. Ndio bei ifanye nini? Ishuke. Bibi uko amezusha because hakuna chakula inakuja. Sanford haikuji. Bibi amechemsha spaghetti usiku. Now, long story short, my journey as a father was very rough initially. But, and that's why I said I'll take you back. There's something we say, monkey see, monkey do. Me growing up in a family setup of a grandfather, being the father figure, I was able to see him provide for the family. Remember, he was a father to more than 12 kids. 12. Civil servant. He had daughters and sons of his brothers and sisters there. He had me as a grandchild. At any given time, that household had nearly 21 people. We all were fed, clothed, sheltered. This man never complained. This man always in the morning would pick people and drop them to school, I included, and take them back home. Okay? And the resilience I got initially for not running away as a deadbeat father, nowadays I attribute it to first to God and to the aspect of seeing monkey see, monkey do. That man, who I'm named after, was integral into me going to the fatherhood journey. He never complained, and no kids were ever chased away for school fees arrears. No kid. Unajua unaona mtu trouser imepigwa viraka. Never. Are we together?
Yes.
So kuingia job ya 1 month, kulipo kwa commission ya 1,000 na uko na bibi na mtoto, did not come from me being a strong person. No. It came from the foundation I saw that my grandfather had and instilled in me. Are we together? And also when you bring up a child, people say, nilipata mtoto. People do not realize that it's a calling.
It is.
Being a parent is a calling. Ndio maana wenye wana calling, wanaacha watoto wapi? Kwa dustbins. Being a priest is a calling because you deny yourself earthly pleasure, earthly things. And unajua aspect of being recruited as a priest ni lazima ukue functional everywhere.
Yes.
Yes. So si ati huyu jamaa na itilafu ya mitambo.
Yeah.
No. Ako 100%. So he denies himself that calling to go for a higher calling, which is God.
Yes.
And it's the same breath that you are called a father. The way the priest in church is called a father, because he's a father of the church.
Yes.
And you are a father of your family.
Yes.
And when you become a father, not only to your children, also to your wife and to the society you live in.
That's true.
Okay? So the journey into fatherhood was instigated by hardship, was instigated by the element of being thrown into the deep end. And I congratulate my mom for doing it. But later on, she came out to tell me the truth, whereby she is not the one who made the ultimate decision to get me out of her house. It is my grandfather. He said, if that guy is man enough to impregnate a lady, then he's man enough to take responsibility of his life.
True.
What you do, pick him up, throw him in the deep end. He will swim. How? He will swim. Will he drown? No. And if he dares try to drown, we'll be at the periphery, looking at him. Na tutamrushia kale kakitu.
Yes.
Kale kakitu nini? Unarushiwa
Support.
current kidogo, ile chumvi, ile kitunguu, ile mafuta. Niyo ilikuwa kama floater.
Yeah.
You get my point? Now, another thing I want to tell people is that fatherhood is, yes, a calling, but pia we usually don't have the cards to it. Your ladies or your wives have the ultimate decision on how and when you'll be a father.
Yes.
Because they look at you and see, is this guy a responsible person? Yes. So he can take care of this child? Yes. Can he take care of another one? Subconsciously, they make that decision. Can he take care of that child and also us? Where is he headed to? Because, and I tell fellow men, men are like engines. Unaweza kuwa una V8 engine. Unaweza kuwa una V12 engine. But haina tire.
Yeah.
Haina steering wheel. The tire and the steering wheels that gives you a sense of direction is the woman you get in your life as your wife. And the man unaambiago, woe unto you if you get a miserable woman. Your life will be in tatters.
Yes.
Okay? And then unaambiago, he who gets a good wife,
Finds a good thing.
I mean, who gets a wife gets a good thing. Sindio? Because that saying has a deeper meaning that at the end of the day, she will dictate how you become as a family and how you also become as a parent and also as a father.
Yes.
Okay? And it is important for people to learn that fatherhood is not just providing. It is understanding your child. It is understanding your wife. It is also nurturing their strengths that if they have.
Yes.
Usikanyage mtu.
Yes.
Ati unaona kama atakuwa rich kunishinda kwa sababu ni mwerevu kunishinda. You know. Fatherhood is also an element of being a high priest. If you want prayer in your home, don't expect the wife to run with that. Because a father has been given gifts by God to bless or curse. Wasemagi, mother has been given the purpose or the element to be able to bless or curse. Ni mwana unaonaga, is it Isaac? Kabla adedi alifanya nini?
Called Esau and Jacob.
Akasema nipikieni.
Yeah.
But Rebecca akafanya 1 2 1 2. Isaac akavalishwa vitu. Sauti ilikuwa hivi lakini Isaac aliguza mikono akasikia hizi ni za Esau.
Yeah.
And took away Esau's blessing.
Yeah.
So the father always blesses.
Yes.
Okay? And becoming a father does not have a script.
It doesn't.
It does not. What I tell people, you need to be very slow to anger. You also need to be not self-centered. Wanaume wengi wako self-centered. Andasema kwa nini? You might look at it in two ways. There are men who provide, and they forget themselves.
Yes.
Is that right? No.
No.
That's why a lot of men die early. So, There are men who are also very self-centered. Does not provide a lot, but he puts himself so fast that ataenda kwa butchery akule quarter na watoto nyumbani wana struggle na itakuwa nini bitter herbs. Mijeveve. Bitter herbs. You do not provide for them. So you just need to strike a balance.
Yes.
You can provide for them, but also don't forget yourself.
Yes.
And that's something I'm also trying to learn. Because sisi ni wale watu wa unachukua kila kitu yako,
Yeah, you dumped it.
unabaki bila kitu. My grandfather used to provide a lot. But then jioni, he would go and socialize na wazee.
Yeah.
Even if he's having 2 glasses of water,
Yes.
he takes that and, is able to listen and kutoa hiyo pressure yako nayo. His only place niko na akismile.
Yeah.
Alikuja nyumbani alikuwa itwa Lion. Because he did not know how to handle watoto wote. Imagine watoto 21.
That's a lot.
Daddy kiatu, daddy walipiga coffee, daddy ng'ombe, steam imekatika, So he did not have a balance act per se akiwa home. So it was very hard for you to see him smile. But lucky for me, because I was the youngest amongst all of them, I saw him when the pressure was not there.
Oh yeah. Oh, they had left.
They had left. I saw him in his true element, when he's sad, when he's happy. And he drove that into me, to be the person I am. So fatherhood, to answer your question, is not something that you learn in school. It is something that God gives you, but also you learn from home. What you see is what you emanate out. So kama baba anakupiga watu makofi, pia unakuwa mtu.
Yeah.
Kama ni mtu akurusha mdomo, pia unakurusha mdomo. Yes.
But looking back, Frank, I'll take you back to the day you're chased out of home. The child is three weeks. These people have just been, you thought it was just, you were just dating. Now you're a father. You've been given this lady to marry.
Yes.
Even without you asking.
Yes.
Anyway. And then 3 weeks down the line, these same people who asked for this lady to be your wife are now telling you, pack up and leave. It's true they've given you rent, but what are you coming to do in Nairobi? And there is this family, the girl's family as well. They had expectations for their girl. She's in first year. She just arrived.
Yes.
Anyway. And there's just so much happening around you. How did you, rather, okay, I know we've heard your story of how you go to Safaricom and everything, but were there days when you felt, maybe that thing I said of 4G was, I need to leave, because for one, I cannot understand this woman. You were young. I heard someone say that a man who is below 26 cannot function as a father. What he was trying to say is, psychologically, your mind is not prepared for the responsibilities that are coming as a husband and as a... So for you, were there those days when you felt, like the one you've just said, you let this person go to Ngong and I will go back to Kampala?
Yeah.
And how did you stay sober in all these things? How did you say that this is what I have seen in my grandfather? Because there are so many people who've grown up with very upright parents,
Yes.
but they're deadbeats, dads.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even because they're bad. It's not because they don't want the child. It's that they've looked at their status, and for sure, where they are in that darkness, they can't move. They do not even have that ride you are given to Nairobi. So the man just decides, it's been real.
Yeah,
you go back to your people.
And I go mind my thing.
And probably I met someone and they said, I left them so that I can go become a better person for them. So how did you stay afloat for you?
First and foremost, I would say it's not through my own will, power. It is, unajua kuna kitu inaitwa the spirit of the Lord.
Yeah.
Mungu alifanya kazi pia.
Yeah.
But having seen my mom struggle as a single parent, I had told myself, I will never ever want to bring a child into this world and run away.
Yes.
Whereby I become my father's son. And I'm saying this with utmost respect to that man, because they usually say there are 3 sides to a story. There is my mom's story, there is his story, and there is the truth.
Yeah.
The circumstance of them not being together, it's well known to them. But I saw her struggle. I saw her with the loans.
Yes.
So the first element was I had told myself I will never want to become a deadbeat father. It starts from you.
It does.
Okay? Then life becomes tough and the you may fail. You start looking around, and I ask myself, if this man called Kabogo Senior
Yes.
was able to feed more than 21 children in his own home as a civil servant, and he never gave up, he never said, I'm never coming back. That's the second thing that would give me the hope of saying, I can continue with this.
Yes.
Then the third, God, is also fundamental. Because itafika pale useme enyewe mimi siendi home. I was told to go back with the blue band. Na mkate.
And you've not found
Na diaper. My friends hiyo kanje imekupiga makofi town. Pesa ulikuwa nayo imeenda. Umeshika?
Yeah.
But God gives you that drive to go and say, yes, nitapambana na hali yangu. Now, another thing was also being a bit rough. I'll say a bit rough because I did not have the wisdom to know that sometimes you don't need to answer your in-laws. And I say this respectfully because there was a time I was given pressure. On the face value, you are in Safaricom. But guys don't know, in Safaricom at that time, you were getting 1 month contracts. Sometimes even the contracts will not be renewed. And you were not directly under Safaricom. We were under an agency.
Yes.
That gets paid by Safaricom to pay you. Sawa. And then if you do well, you get 3 months. Your school fees for the lady in university, you take about nearly 100,000. So I had pushback. There's a time I was told, umepanga jambo ya shule, and I pushed back. And I said, it happened when it happened. Was it right at that time? Because as a child to another parent, I would never have gone that direction. But at that time, I knew that is the situation I'm in, and I gave feedback. But that feedback also was not taken badly. You know, unaweza pia mtu hivi achukue vibaya. I think the parent understood.
Yeah.
And amazingly, out of their prayers and the grit and push and the blessing of this child, wanasema mtu anakuja sani yake.
Yeah.
Things stabilized. I was able to get a permanent job. I was able to get enough money to go and get loans and pay school fees.
Yes.
She was able to go to university. She was able to graduate.
Yes.
You get. So things started opening up. But ultimately, for us to make it as a family and as a father, there was what I saw. There was the power of God. And there was also that self-drive that I will never be a deadbeat father. And that's how it came to be that I think I fought all odds of becoming a very young father at a very young age and never really, neglected them per se. Am I perfect? I don't think so. But are we blessed where we are right now? Are we doing a great job? I believe so. Only time will tell.
And now, Frank, I am still very stuck on that day where you leave home because I know who you are now.
Yes.
And for sure, they say you don't look like your past. They keep saying you don't look like your problems.
Sekai majida.
There's something they say. So there are those words your mom said that one day you will understand.
Yes.
Later you found out your grandfather is saying throw him in the deep end.
Yes.
Looking back now, you were father of a 17-year-old who could easily come and tell you congratulations.
You are a great grandfather.
You're a grandfather.
Yes.
How would you say would you say that your ashes have become your crown now? Do you think, let me give you a different narrative of your life. You've gone to Uganda, you're in this 8,000 job. It's working, it was working before the news. Yeah. And then this child of yours never came into the picture or came years later. Would you say you would be in the same position?
No. Because for 2 years, I was there. I never essentially saved my money. Yeah. Ilikuwa sherehe. Pon sherehe. Mambili kwa sema chop that.
Yes.
Kenya ni man. Msaja Kenya lina sente nyingi nyo.
Yes.
So I will never save per se. That child brought an element of stability and responsibility. To the question of taking me back on how I would understand being thrown at the deep end,
Yeah.
believe you me, kama singefukuzwa, sawa, Nakuru sahii labda ningekuwa na watoto kama 9, sawa, because everything is
provided.
catered for. I will not have the grit and drive that I currently have in my life or have had to be where I am right now.
Yes.
Because everything is on a silver platter. My grandfather saw the mistakes he made himself. Are you together? I'm not throwing you on a bus. If you know, you know. Saw the mistakes he did when he was a father.
Yes.
How he misunderstood the children and how he never took the initiative to tell them, go launch yourself and fly.
Yes.
Sawa? So they did what we call failure to launch. And that failure to launch haunted him up to when he was old, because he never stopped catering for some of the children who never launched. Because a child is a child, no matter the age. So it might be 70, a child is 55,
Yes.
but you'll still provide for that child.
It's still a child.
It's still your child. Okay? And he decided, as his first, I'm not his first grandson, but as a son that he grew up with, he's not going to make the mistake, because he treated me like as the last born.
Yeah.
So you watu wanasema kitinda ni softy nini. So I was like a kitinda. So he threw me in the deep end and convinced my mom, do the same.
Yes.
We should be in this together.
Yes.
So that this guy can fly and get out of the nest.
Yes.
So it was right for them to do it.
Okay.
It has given me the backbone to be the person I am, the person who does not give up, the person who will not seek polisi imekusimamisha anze kulia, o madeni imekuchapa right left and center anze kulia, sema nachukua kamba niishe, hapana. You try and find a solution out of it. And that backbone is not taught in school. Sawa? It's not taught on Google.
Yeah.
It is taught by monkey see, monkey do. Yes.
Oh, wow. So, Frank, today, this very day that we are speaking,
Yes.
there is a man somewhere who has received that call of we need to talk. Yesterday, another man. These stories happen every day, left, right, and center. And for them, they've not committed, or they've committed and now they're thinking, I should withdraw this commitment because this is too heavy for me. What would you tell them? Would you tell them to hold on, or would you tell them it's worth it? What's your advice?
Is layered in different ways. Tuseme ukweli. Siku hizi soko ni chafu. Sawa? Girl child anaweza kuwa amefanya 1-2 and then amepiga kona, who looks responsible.
Yes.
Hakuja kuwekea mzigo.
Right.
Sawa? So first and foremost, don't just accept for the sake of accepting. Uwezi tu mtu from randomly kwenye ametoka kuja kwambia ni yako. Pia lazima ujaji mtu mwenye uko naye. So is the person worth? And can you justify the fact that yes, that child is yours? Okay? And I say this because children, as much as people wanasemaga wanakuja na sahani yao, it is not an easy task. It's a very heavy job. It is something that requires your all to provide, because your money is no longer your money. It is our money. It is our money.
Yes.
And that child is your child till death.
Yes, that's true.
Not 18 to 21, till death. Sawa? If that child is yours, somehow, somewhere, you'll adapt.
Yes.
And you'll provide for that child.
Yes.
You know, animals are very peculiar. They don't stress over little things. An animal does not have a fridge, does not have insurance,
Yes.
does not have a house, does not go for university. But an animal like a bird will sing in the morning. Sawa? Will copulate midday. Will eat, will sleep without thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah.
And will nurture its younglings using the element that is being given by God. I ask people, do the same thing. Because for me, I attribute my blessings. I'm highly blessed. My blessings come from the element of I did not shun away from the responsibility of a father. I don't shun away from the responsibility of a husband. And being a husband and a person who's married is a very different conversation.
Oh, yes.
But your blessings somehow are nurtured or under, they are covered by you coming out and saying, mimi ndachukua mtoto kama baba yake. And not only your biological children. I have a friend, Dan and Katile. They have adopted a child. They were looking for a child, but they never got a child. When they adopted, immediately got a child. So God ni kama alikuwa ngojea muadopt.
Yes.
Then niwapatie hii, because this child requires you. And that child has brought them a lot of blessings. So do not shy away from being a father. Talk. Men don't talk. Have conversation with men who have been there, done it. Don't listen to other young men telling you umejifunga. You may not have a relationship with a lady, but don't run away from her child. Even if you and the lady is not working out, be in that child's life. The child will always respect you for that.
Being a dad, being a son, being a husband. And it goes without saying that things get better with time. Once you put your trust in God, because there's a lot of God in your story, God can never be outside your picture if you're really looking for success. And today, we are giving you your crown.
Thank you.
Because you've been a father, more than that, 2 more children that we've not discussed, and you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
From us who are looking, and from your story, what you've told to who you are now, it's truly a crown that the Lord has given you. And we thank you so much for even honoring this call to come and represent dads out there who are at their worst, who are somewhere still struggling. They've not made it, but at least they see the light. And those who already got to this place, at least even when they hear of this story, they will also remember, oh wow, it was the hand of God.
True.
So our reading, this is a Christian channel, so we always end it with a word in relation to your story.
Yes.
And it is the guest that reads us the story. It is in 1 Samuel 7, 1 to 14.
7 to 14. Before I read it, I also have to tell other dads that as much as you're a leader, you're also the high priest of your home. Hii mambo ya kuambia mama tuombeshe, mama tuanaombaga, mama, you lead by example. Kani kuombesha, ombesha, but then delegate wakati uombeshi, because you also need to nurture the gift of prayer in your home.
Yes.
So fathers are what? High priests.
I actually had someone say on television that they started praying the minute their wife told them they had a vision. The man sat himself down and he asked God, why are you giving my wife my vision? I am the head.
Yes.
Now, that information, please bring it to the head. And for sure, right now, that he wore the shoes of the high priest, like you said. Now he's the one who goes to the wife and tells them, this is what God wants us to
In
do.
your knee.
Yes, and I think it is the perfect picture because the husband will be the head.
Okay.
So it can never be the other way around.
Very true.
Yes.
Okay. So it says, so the inhabitants of Kiriath Jearim came for the ark of the Lord and brought it into the house of Abinadab on the hill, appointing his son Eleazar as a guardian of the ark of the Lord. Religious reform. From the day the ark came to rest in Kiriath Jearim, a long time, 20 years, elapsed, and the whole Israelite population turned to the Lord. Samuel said to them, if you wish with your whole heart to return to the Lord, put away your foreign gods and your Ashtaroth. Devote yourselves to the Lord and worship him alone. Then he will deliver you from the power of the Philistines. So the Israelites put away their Baals and Ashtaroth and worshiped the Lord alone. Samuel then gave orders, gather all Israel to Mizpah, that I may pray to the Lord for you. When they were gathered at Mizpah, they drew water and poured it on the ground before the Lord. And they fasted that day, confessing, we have sinned against the Lord. It was at Mizpah that Samuel began to judge the Israelites, the rout of the Philistines. When the Philistines heard that the Israelites had gathered at Mizpah, their lords went up against Israel. Hearing this, the Israelites became afraid of the Philistines and said to Samuel, "Implore the Lord our God unceasingly for us, to save us from the clutches of the Philistines." Samuel therefore took an unweaned lamb and offered it entire as a holocaust to the Lord. He implored the Lord for Israel, and the Lord heard him. While Samuel was offering the holocaust, the Philistines advanced to join battle with Israel. That day, however, the Lord thundered loudly against the Philistines and threw them into such confusion that they were defeated by the Israelites. Thereupon, the Israelites sallied forth from Mizpah and pursued the Philistines, hurrying them down beyond Bethkar. Samuel then took a stone and placed it between Mizpah and Jeshaniah. He named it Ebenezer, explaining, "To this point has the Lord helped us." Thus were the Philistines subdued, never again to enter the territory of Israel. For the Lord was severe with them as long as Samuel lived.
Yes, the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
I thought about this reading because the Israelites were the beloved of God. And when they were obeying, God was so good to them. But every time they disobeyed, God would...
Kabogo.
Yes.
Unyo.
In fact, there's a point where the Amalekites and those Hittites and who would wait for the Israelites to plant. They'd plant when their crops are ready for harvest. During the time of Gideon, these people would come and chop everything down and go. So these people, the Philistines, had harassed these people for years on end.
Walikuwa bullies.
Yes. But these people were busy worshipping foreign gods. And you remember, God told them that if you go to the land I'm giving you and worship the gods that you find there, I am going to punish you the same way I am planning on punishing the Canaanites. But now, this time, we see they are calling Samuel and they are repenting.
Yes.
They're coming back to God. And it brings me to the point where God will give you two types of help. Help for you and help in you.
Yes.
That first he has to put you in the place to bless you. Otherwise, if he gives you a car and you're a reckless driver,
You will die.
you will die. God doesn't give gifts like that. God will always give you a gift after he has reformed you.
Yeah.
And it takes me back to your story. Probably now when this gift was being sent and why probably financially and whatever you couldn't, it is because probably you'd not even discovered your place as a child of God. But when you do and when you do this work, now the help has come for you and in you.
True.
So for me, it is a call for men, women, ladies, kids, everyone who's really going through struggles, and even those who are not. It is a call to come back to God so that he helps you as a person and he now brings help to you. Because God will never give you something you've not deserved. He will always hold it. God never says no to a prayer. God will give it immediately. He will give you a better thing, or he will say wait. Because you've not grown into your blessing.
Yes.
These people had not grown into their blessing.
Yes.
And you see immediately they confess their sins and they grow into the blessing of being saved. Now God only confuses the Philistines. He confuses them so much that they retreat without even being touched. It is the power of the hand of God. And we see Samuel putting a stone that he calls Ebenezer. Ebenezer, it means, to this point, the Lord helped me. And Samuel put it between two towns. Two towns to signify that every time you want to move, you need to step on the stone. It is Ebenezer, the stone that the builders rejected.
Stepping stone, yeah.
Yes. Jesus now, who is to come later, is what Samuel is saying. That even as now we've grown into the miracle, we need to put God there and always remember this is the one that helped. So it is a call to everyone. Really, the life, I keep telling people life in Christ is very sweet. It has its moments, but even when you're walking through that valley of the shadow of death, Yeshua will catch you. He says, I will not let my people be without me. In the presence, in your presence, I will always come down. But when you've cleaned yourself and when you're ready for me to come. So thank you so much.
Yes, and I want to add something also.
Yes.
When you are having that call of being a father,
Yes.
maybe God is trying to save you from something.
Oh, yes.
I believe me, I think he saved me from Kampala or from
Yeah.
Uganda
Oh, yes.
or from the life I was going through. Was I a wretched person? Not really, but maybe I will not be a focused person.
Yeah.
So maybe he saved me from earthly pleasures or earthly
yes.
stuff that would have consumed me.
Or that your blessing was in Nairobi that you needed to grow into. That is true.
Good stuff.
So we thank you so much
Thank you
for
too.
coming.
You're doing a
Guys,
great
you've
job.
had it. We've had this talk was so much needed. There's a lot of confusion among dads, the role of this and that. And fathers are feeling left out, especially with what are they calling themselves? The super moms.
Aye.
They're bringing a lot of confusion, but you've had it. A dad needs to become a high priest. A dad needs to seek God. A dad needs to define his territory and his role and know that he is what should speak for his family. So we thank you guys for watching. We thank you, Kabogo, for coming to the show. And thank you so much for watching. Please share, please subscribe, please like and comment down below to give us ways in which we can make the show better. And of course, before we end this show, we'd like to thank our videographers, the Son of Mary Studios. And please don't hesitate to reach out to them for your video needs, for your graduations, your weddings, your birthdays, pregnancy shoots, any shoot whatsoever. They'll always be there. They will put their number below. And thank you so much.
Even father shoots.
For joining.
Father and son shoots.
Yes. All whatever you want. Even if you want to just shoot your house, they will be there. Whatever you want to do, they will be there. Very good work. And thank you so much for watching this show. And for now, bye-bye, guys.